Maybe next time. Dad laughed after skipping my wedding despite I paid for flights, hotels for all family. So I made sure they'll regret it. My wedding day was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, a sun-drenched afternoon filled with flowers, laughter, and the loving faces of my family. I had pictured it for years, a perfect, beautiful moment to start my forever with my amazing partner, Alex. We weren't wealthy by any means, but we had saved every penny to make it special, not just for us, but for everyone we loved. My family lived across the country, and I knew money was tight for them, so I didn't hesitate. I drained a significant portion of my savings to book their flights, all 7 of them. My parents, my 2 brothers, their wives, and my sister. I booked them rooms in a charming hotel right next to our venue, picturing us all having breakfast together on the morning of my big day. I coordinated everything, sent them a detailed itinerary, and even included a little welcome basket for each of their rooms filled with their favorite snacks and a heartfelt letter about how much their presents meant to me. The total cost was eye-watering, a figure I tried not to dwell on, telling myself that having my family there to witness this milestone was priceless. The weeks leading up to the wedding were a flurry of last-minute preparations, and every time I spoke to my mom, she'd tell me how excited they all were. My dad, usually a man of few words, even got on the phone to say he was looking forward to walking me down the aisle. The day before the wedding, Alex and I were at the venue, overseeing the final touches. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a group text from my brother. My heart did a little flip, assuming it was a picture of them at the airport or a complaint about the airline food. I smiled as I opened it. But the message wasn't a picture. It was a short, blunt sentence. "We're not going to be able to make it. Sorry." Just that. No explanation, no phone call. I stared at the screen, the world tilting slightly on its axis. My fingers trembled as I tried to call my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sister. Each call went straight to voicemail. Panic clawed at my throat. I texted back, "What are you talking about? What's wrong? Is everyone okay?" An hour went by, an eternity of silence where my mind conjured up 1,000 tragic scenarios. Finally, my dad called. I answered on the first ring, my voice choked with anxiety. "Dad? What's happened? Is everyone all right?" And then, I heard it. A sound that will be forever seared into my memory. Laughter. He laughed. It wasn't a nervous chuckle. It was a full, dismissive laugh. "Hey, kiddo," he said, his voice breezy and unconcerned. "Yeah, everyone's fine. We just decided it was a bit too much hassle. You know how travel is these days. Maybe next time." He laughed again. "Maybe next time." The words echoed in the cavernous silence of my shock. Maybe next time? For my wedding? The one I had spent a fortune on to ensure they could be there? The one he had promised to walk me down the aisle for? I couldn't form words. I felt Alex's hand on my back, a steadying presence as my own world crumbled. I ended the call without another word and sank into a chair, the beautiful floral arrangements suddenly looking like funeral wreaths. The welcome baskets I had so lovingly prepared felt like monuments to my own foolishness. The 7 empty seats at the reception would be a glaring testament to their indifference. The wedding went on, a bittersweet affair. My father-in-law, a wonderful, kind man, stepped in to walk me down the aisle, his eyes filled with a paternal warmth my own father had never shown me. Our friends and Alex's family rallied around us, their love a balm on my wounded heart. We danced, we ate, we celebrated. But a shadow lingered. After the honeymoon, I found out the real reason they hadn't come. My cousin, who had always been the black sheep for her honesty, called me. It turned out my younger sister had announced her engagement to her on-again, off-again boyfriend of 6 months, and my parents had decided to throw them a lavish surprise engagement party that same weekend. They had used the money they saved from not having to buy their own plane tickets to my wedding to fund it. They didn't tell me because they knew I'd be upset, but they assumed I'd just get over it. My father's "maybe next time" wasn't just a flippant remark. It was a declaration of where my place was in the family hierarchy, a distant second to my sister's fleeting whims. The cruelty of it was breathtaking. They hadn't just skipped my wedding. They had used my generosity to celebrate someone else, effectively erasing my milestone in favor of another. That's when the grief curdled into something else, something cold and sharp. I didn't want revenge in the traditional sense. I wanted them to understand the weight of their choice. I wanted them to feel the sting of their own casual disregard. So I began to plan. About a year later, I sent out an email to my entire family. I told them that Alex and I had come into a significant amount of money through a lucky investment, a complete fabrication, of course, but a believable one. I wrote about how my wedding had made me realize the importance of family and how I wanted to share our good fortune with them to create a truly unforgettable family memory. I was offering them an all-expenses-paid, 2-week luxury vacation to a private resort in Hawaii. I painted a vivid picture of pristine beaches, gourmet meals, and exclusive villas. I attached a link to a slick, professional-looking website I had created for the non-existent Aloha Dreams Resort. To make it even more convincing, I told them that as part of a special family reconciliation package, a renowned financial advisor would be meeting us there to help each family member plan their financial future, funded by a trust one had set up in our family's name. The bait was set, an irresistible lure of luxury and free money. As I predicted, they bit hard. The replies were almost instantaneous, filled with effusive apologies for missing the wedding and gushing excitement about the trip. My dad called, his voice dripping with feigned remorse and syrupy sweetness. He went on and on about how proud he was of me and how this trip would be the perfect do-over. I played the part of the magnanimous daughter, graciously accepting their apologies and telling them how much I was looking forward to it. They booked time off work, bought new vacation clothes, and boasted to all their friends about their generous daughter. My sister even had the audacity to ask if she could bring her fiancé. I, of course, said yes. 2 weeks before the trip, I sent them their pre-travel packet. It arrived in a glossy, professional-looking folder. Inside, however, were not plane tickets or hotel confirmations. Instead, the first thing they saw was a detailed, itemized invoice for the full cost of their flights and hotel rooms for my wedding, the total now adjusted for interest. Beneath it was a legally drafted document, prepared by a lawyer friend of Alex's, terminating my financial support for my parents' mortgage, a bill I had been quietly paying a portion of for years. The next page was a donation certificate. I had taken the money I would have spent on the fictitious Hawaiian trip, a substantial sum I had saved by living frugally for the past year, and donated it in their names to a charitable organization dedicated to supporting abandoned brides and grooms. A charity I had created myself with the sole purpose of this reveal. The financial advisor they were supposed to meet was, in fact, the pro bono legal counsel for this new foundation. The final page was a single photo, a picture of me and Alex on our wedding day, radiantly happy, surrounded by his loving family and our dear friends. At the bottom, I had written a simple message. This was my next time. I'm so glad I got to spend it with the people who truly matter. As for your future vacations, financial plans, and family reconciliations, well, maybe next time. My cousin later told me the fallout was spectacular. There was screaming, crying, and a flurry of furious, unanswered calls to my now-blocked number. My father, she said, just sat there amidst the chaos, staring at the invoice and the photo, the color drained from his face. He didn't laugh this time. He didn't say a word. I never heard from them again, and honestly, the silence is the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. I found my real family on my wedding day, and now, finally, I was free.